观众朋友们，现在距离比赛正式开始还有10分钟，在比赛开始前，希望您回到座位上，耐心等待比赛的开始。
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated according to your ticket number. Flash photograph is not allowed during the game. Please turn off your cell phone or switch it to silent mode. Thank you for your cooperation.
观众朋友们，为了更好地欣赏比赛，我们提醒您注意以下观赛礼仪，请您凭票入场，对号入座。在羽毛球比赛的过程中，由于双方运动员的精神高度集中。 所以，请您协助我们共同保持赛场安静，并且关闭您的手机，或者将手机调整到震动状态。另外，在比赛进行中，请不要使用闪光灯拍照，以免干扰双方运动员。中国羽毛球公开赛组委会真诚感谢您对赛事的支持。
Ladies 请勿在场内进食，请勿乱扔垃圾，请保持场馆清洁。
请勿在场内进食，请勿乱扔垃圾，请保持场馆清洁。
为避免影响比赛，请关闭照相机的闪光灯。
为避免影响比赛，请您关闭照相机的闪。
请不要在场馆内吸烟。
请不要在场馆内吸烟。
请您将您的手机设置在关机、震动或静音状态。
请将您的手机设置在关机、震动或静音状态。
Hello and welcome to Fuzhou for semi-finals day at the THAIHOT China Open, event number 11 on the 12 tournament MetLife BWF World Super Series. They're all 12 tournaments, and this not only the penultimate event but also the 5th of 5 premier events. So only Hong Kong left after this to qualify for those all-important Super Series finals to be staged in Dubai. Well, this is the semi-final lineup. We're starting with women's doubles and the new world number ones from Japan up against the world and Olympic champions from China. Then women's singles and the Olympic bronze medalist Saina Nehwal of India up against Liu Xin of China. Then men's singles and Tian on an incredible 14-match winning streak. He's won his last 2 tournaments played, but he's up against the Olympic champion and 5-time winner of this event, Lin Dan of China. Then we've got mixed doubles, and Lu Kai and Wang Yaxiong in their first ever Super Series semi-final. They're up against a pair who's had come through the qualifying, Yu Young Sung and Hei Wan. And then we finish with men's doubles, and the pair who are #1 on the Destination Dubai ranking list, Li Shengmu and Sai Chia Sin, up against the home players of Chai Biao and Hong Wei. Well, this is the Destination Dubai ranking list at the moment for the women's doubles, and as you can see, only 4 different nations. The top 3 pairs remained unchanged after the French Open, but the big change, I suppose, was Ma Jin and Tang Yuanting. They jumped up 2 places to go to the top of all the Chinese pairs, but I suspect that might change because of the pair on court right now, because Tian and Zhao Yunlei were pushed off that #4 position down to #6, but here they are in the semi-final, and I suspect, we haven't calculated it yet, but I suspect they might get just enough points to go back as the top Chinese pair. Remember, for those Super Series finals, only 2 pairs or players in the singles from any one nation to qualify, and it's only the top 8 who will qualify for the Dubai Super Series finals. Well, I'm Jill Clarkson alongside Morton Frost. We'll get our calculators out a little later to work all that out about the women's doubles, won't we? But
too complicated.
So this women's doubles, the new world #1s from Japan, Matsutomo and Takahashi. Masaki Matsutomo, 22 years of age, Ayaka Takahashi, 24, and as you can see, they are the #3 seeds. So this is the women's doubles draw. 3 Chinese pairs, as you can see, from the quarter-final stage, and those 3 Chinese pairs made it all the way through to the semi-finals as well. So it is only the new world #1s who are breaking up the China dominance in this discipline. Well, we did talk about it earlier in the tournament, only 25 pairs in the women's doubles. We'll chat about that a little bit more in a moment, but there is Ayaka Takahashi, the 24-year-old from Nara in Japan. 4 consecutive quarterfinals prior to this year here at the Japan Open for this Japanese pair. So this is their first ever semi-final here. World ranking of #1. That must be a pleasure for them to see that, isn't it? Well, as far as their win-loss record for the year is concerned, they've been in 6 finals from 13 tournaments. Of course, the silver medal at the Asian Games, and their first ever Super Series title this year in their 5th Super Series final. And how fitting and how wonderful that their first ever Super Series title was on home ground in Japan. Well, they had a bye in the first round, as all seeded pairs did in the women's doubles. Beat their compatriots, the #6 seeds, Reika Kakiwa and Mayuki Maeda, in yesterday's quarterfinal. Now in 36 minutes that was. It was an absolute marathon. So there is Tian Qing, 28 years of age. She's won this women's doubles title twice. That's wrong information for a start. She's won 2 titles here, 1 mixed doubles and 1 women's doubles. And Zhao Yunlei, she's been in 4 finals here at the China Open. 2 titles, women's doubles with Cheng Shu in 2010, and the mixed doubles in 2011 with Jiang Nang. And of course, she will be playing in the mixed doubles semi-final a little later on. Well, my stats are slightly different to that. I have it as 7-3, and the last time that they played was actually won by Matsutomo and Takahashi, because that was in the Asian Games in the semi-final of the women's team competition. And that really kept Japan in that semi-final at those Asian Games. But of course, China went on to take the women's team a gold medal. So our umpire for this one is Kelvin Martin of Barbados. Apinda Sabawal is our service judge.
Ayaka Takahashi, Japan.
On my left, Ting Qing and Zhao Yulin, China. Zhao Yulin to serve to Ayaka Takahashi. Love all. Play.
So the world and Olympic champions from China, Tian and Zhao Yunlei, are getting this semi-final underway against the world #1s. Japanese pair, incidentally, Matsutomo and Takahashi, also #1 on the destination Dubai ranking list. They've played every single Super Series tournament so far this year, and of course they're due to play next week in Hong Kong as well. Great supporters of the MetLife BWF World Superseries. Now, Morton, here's an interesting stat for this Chinese pair. This is the 4th time that they've entered the China Open. They have never lost a match, but they've never won the tournament either.
They never won it either.
Twice they've given walkovers in the semi-final in 2011. They gave a walkover to Tang Xinhua and Sha Huan, and then in last year in the semi-final they gave a walkover to Wang Xiaoli and Yu Yang. And then in 2012, they were the #1 seeds, but withdrew before the tournament got underway. So this is their 4th time here, 2 semi-finals. And their win-loss record, no losses. That's odd, isn't it?
Looks really good, doesn't it?
Looks impressive. Very misleading.
It is. It is. Play by Tian here. That cross-court smash is played with very, very good angle. Then this one is coming. Look at this. That is very, very nice angle. Reversed and everything. Good disguise and catching Takahashi completely in her defense. Well played. And I think that's the kind of shots that you need to produce in women's doubles in order to score points. You really have to start playing shots like that.
Service over.
Yeah, good return of serve.
Yeah. Cutting down the angle with a push straight down the middle. And then the replies. It's very difficult to create an angle on. Very nice. Good flick serve there. And just bringing back the point that I've said so many times earlier. The flick serve have to be a very, very important part of the service situation. And so far, a lot of players are not using that flick serve a lot.
That's good defence.
It is. I know we will not see it again, but I really think that Tian this time chose wrongly when she had the attack first. She was playing a very nice attack down the line, and the second time she went towards the centre. Had she gone down the line again on that one, I think they would have had a very good chance of winning that rally, and now it's just going on and on. So it's about taking these opportunities when you get them.
It's a marathon rally. Morton, I briefly mentioned that only 25 pairs in the women's doubles, 8 of them Chinese pairs. I've studied it a little bit more. Only 2 European pairs, 1 American pair. And you and I, before play started this afternoon here on semi-finals day. We're sitting down having our usual cuppa.
Yeah, cup of tea.
And we were talking, you made some very, very interesting comments about if you were coaching European women's doubles, about, of course it's become a physical game. That previous rally we've just watched, this is another hard physical rally. But you said to me that you felt that you would coach in a different way. You wouldn't concentrate necessarily, of course you've got to be fit, but you would work more on the skills and the tactics.
Absolutely. I think that's what will have to differentiate you from other pairs and combinations around the world, is if you're more skillful and if you play better tactics. Because honestly, if it's only a physical game, you know, we could put everybody in the gym for hours and hours a day and create good doubles players. But I think if you've got to win in women's doubles today, and you have to differentiate yourself, and that have to be on skills and tactics.
Yeah. So you've talked a lot in recent months, Morten, about the angle and using angles in women's doubles.
They have to do it because they don't have the power from the baseline to go on these straightforward smashes down the middle or body smashes, because they simply haven't got the power, and the defense on the other side is far too strong. And that again comes down to skills. When I say you have to develop angle shots, but that takes skills to do.
5,
yeah.
4.
So it's sort of go hand in hand.
Oh, that's landed in.
Yeah, well in.
Service over. 5 all.
I think we're in for a long match here.
Yeah.
Nowhere near going out.
Six, 5.
Decision on the return.
Yeah, but it was a good serve.
Yeah.
Very good serve.
Service over.
And Morten, just picking up on that point about you think we're in for a long match. For Matsutomo and Takahashi, there are 2 matches they played because both these pairs had a bye in the first round. Their first match against the Koreans Hae-won and Jung Kyung-eun, an hour and 8 minutes. It was only 2 games, an hour and 8 minutes. And then in the quarterfinal yesterday against their teammates, the number 6 seeds, Reika Kikiwa and Mayuki Maeda, an hour and 36 minutes in 3 games. So 2 hours, 44 minutes. Their opponents under an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So the Chinese pair won both of their matches in 2 straight games, including the quarterfinal. They got revenge over Gracia Poli and
quite easily.
Maswari, who beat them in the Asian Games. Yeah, 14 and 17. It was, but it was quite easy, wasn't it?
It was, and that could possibly give the Chinese the edge today.
Yeah.
Could possibly. I'm not saying it will, but it could possibly. And while we been babbling on here, you and I sitting, I think it was very, very interesting to see that
9,
excuse me,
6.
Zhang Qiang used a flick serve twice and won both. It's just proving my point again.
Service over.
It doesn't look at much what Matsutomo is doing there, but she's playing a
7,
slightly disguised
9.
smash here. Look at that, look at that. You could see that slight reverse on that shot in that slow motion, really well picked up. And that's actually what's causing the damage in the Chinese defense. It's that disguise that's doing it. And that's what I'm talking about. It's skills that's got to open up these defenses.
Yeah.
Eight, 9.
Well, we're not seeing it, but I can tell you there was a little bit of a discussion going on there between Tian and Zhao Yunlei. Oh, that's well reached.
Service over.
The racket head. No, of
10,
course, they pulled out
8.
of the last Super Series event in Paris, the French Open. And it was an injury problem to Zhao Yunlei because she pulled out of the mixed doubles as well. Morten, did you hear exactly what that was? I know there was a problem that actually occurred in Denmark, didn't it? But
she carried on to win it the mixed doubles, didn't she? Can't remember. Oh, we see so many tournaments. Mix them up now and again.
Service over. 9, 10.
for the record, they gave a walkover in the quarter-final of Denmark in the mixed doubles.
In the mixed, okay, I was wrong. So
Liu Cheng and Bao Yi-sin.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All. Service over. 11-10 interval.
Good rotational play there from the World and Olympic champions. The smash from Tian. Look, she moves forward. Partner immediately moves out to take the next one. And they have the advantage at the mid-game interval. Just 1 point though. We thought this would be close, didn't we, Morten?
And so far we're right. As I say, we're in for a long match, most likely here. I think the difference between the other pairs that the Chinese have played this tournament and then up against this Japanese pair is that Japanese defense is stronger than the others, so they can withstand the pressure. And that's why we're getting this very, very long match, most likely.
11-10. Play. Service over. 11-all.
Oh, it's called out. Were you surprised at that?
Yes.
Service over.
Yeah, I would have challenged that.
They can't see it.
12-11.
It's very difficult standing on the court and see all the way to the baseline on the other side and whether that's in or out. You've got to be pretty sure to call the challenge. Especially still this early in the match.
13-11.
Play by China here, and somehow it looks like the aggressive
14-11.
tactic of the Chinese is really paying off. I know they're only 14-11 up, but this is good play since the mid-game interval. I think they played even more positively than what they did in the opening stages of the match, and that is paying off, and that's the way forward, I think, for the Chinese combination here. And obviously Japan have to look, can they still survive just playing defensive badminton, or must they, as here Matsutomo is going in on the attack and scoring the point?
12-14.
Always have to weigh the two options up against one another.
Service over.
It's a nice idea, the little block
15,
there from Matsutomo.
12.
Oh my goodness, no!
They're winning it, they're winning it.
That is extraordinary.
That's good fighting. And really well covered
16,
first by
12.
Chang Ying, and when she got that shot back, and then eventually how Zhao Yunlei is covering the last one. That one is really, that's nice, but that one is almost even better.
Just wide.
Yeah, it was a good idea.
Service over.
Very good counter-attacking shot by Zhao Yunlei here. Unfortunate it's going out, but I think it was a very good idea.
Service over. Seventeen, 13.
Out, yes.
Yeah. Morton, I can't help but think back.
13.
It was 11-all, you know, when I said were you surprised about that line call at the back of the court? And you said, yeah, but it's so difficult for players. I totally agree with you. It is so difficult seeing that back line when you're on the opposite side of the court. But since then, I've sort of felt that the Japanese pair haven't really been in it in the same way. All the way up to that mid-game interval, I thought it was anybody's this opening game. I'm now very much feeling it's the Chinese way. And
it is.
Hindsight is a wonderful thing. We'd probably all make very different decisions in life, wouldn't we, if we had the benefit of hindsight. But that could have been crucial.
Obviously, had they challenged and it was a wrong decision, then that could have been crucial. Yes, I agree with you on that. But I think that the Chinese is really deserving their lead.
Yes. Yeah.
They have taken control. They do play more aggressive badminton, and they do score when they go on the attack, and they do play better counter-attacking shots.
Definitely.
So they do deserve to be 19-14 up.
Very good angles.
20,
bring up
game
game
point,
point opportunities.
14. Service over.
Yeah, obviously, okay, a string went, and obviously it's very difficult to control it then. But once again, I commend the courage.
Yeah.
The fact that she was actually
15,
going for that shot,
20.
and she was trying to play the right shot. Had that been in, it would have been a winner. I know this time it was going way out, and it's possibly because of the string broken. But it was the right shot because she was hitting her opponent on the most difficult side in her defense and all that. So it was a brave shot to play, and I can only commend it.
And we'd like to see more of those shots attempted. And that's a wonderful angle from Zhao Yunlei.
First game won by Tang Jing and Zhao Yulin.
Game 21-15. 22 minutes. Yeah, thoroughly deserved that opening game. As you were saying, more positive in attack, more positive in defence.
And more creative.
Yep. Coach there nearest to us. I don't really remember him playing men's doubles. I don't really remember him as a mixed doubles player.
Here we go. This is good scrambling, isn't it?
Fantastic. Look at that. Utter determination. I'm not going to let that shuttle hit the ground.
Like a squash shot almost.
Yeah.
Recovering one of those shots as well, but that was even more desperate than that one.
It was 2 inches off the ground or something, wasn't it?
Out of this world shot.
Yeah.
In the mixed doubles yesterday.
Yeah.
Court 1, 20 seconds. Court 1, 20 seconds.
Look at that. Bit of stretching there from Takahashi.
Zhao.
I'm not surprised. Those 2 marathon matches they've had so far.
Takahashi receiving.
So the world and Olympic champions, 1 game to the good against the new world #1s.
Second game. Love all. Play.
You know, Morton, I was watching very, very carefully in that opening game because the
One
Northern Olympic champions,
love.
of course, Zhao Yunlei, double Olympic champion, has been world champion in mixed doubles as well. And, you know, I'm watching her play now and looking at her results. Of course, she's been off with injury problems, so she's maybe not moving as well as we've seen in the past. But I thought last year, this pair only played 5 tournaments together. And they were experimented with other pairs. And I wondered whether she was actually going to continue playing women's doubles or whether she was just going to focus.
Fade out and go into mixed only.
But I see a difference in the body language of Tian. I think that she's realised that actually if I'm not playing with Zhao Yunlei, I might not get the opportunities to go to
be one of the partners.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because I thought in that opening game, we all know how good Zhao Yunlei is, but I was really impressed with Tian in that opening game.
She made more of a difference.
Yes.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I certainly do that.
Because she's a different style of player, isn't she? She's not going to be playing so many of the winning shots. She's more of the...
she's a worker.
She's a worker, and she sets up the rally. But she was moving better, seemed to be playing with much more... Purpose.
Service over. 3-2.
I don't know if we will have a look at it, but look at... I know it's a fashion statement, but now we won't see it, but the nails of Takahashi. And I can remember from my playing days, you know, if you had long nails like that, you know, you had a chance of pinching your skin. And, you know, playing with your skin broken on your hand, that's not very nice. And I'm really surprised she can play with that. Just an observation.
Well, you know what she's listed as her hobbies?
No.
Nail care.
Okay.
and I understand that she, when they're sitting in hotel rooms and training and practice has finished for the day.
Some put toweling grips on and others do nails.
She does all the team's nails, not only her own. Maybe I should go and see her.
But I'm just wondering, you know, I remember if you had a nail just slightly a little bit too long, you know, it would pinch you.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I hit it on the nail.
5-2. Service over. 3-5.
There's another interesting thing I think we were discussing. I think it was probably on the bus this morning, wasn't it, Morton, about this Japanese pair becoming world number ones. And before I say what I'm going to say, we need to really understand what world rankings are about. It's a level of capabilities over a period of time, and in badminton, it's done over a year, a rolling 12-month period, week by week.
Service over.
And you made a great observation, because you said that
6.
It was
3.
They are so consistently so good, the Japanese pair, and I couldn't agree more. But their performance in World Championships, All England, sometimes hasn't lived up to our expectations. Of course, they were silver medalists in the recent Asian Games, which was a wonderful result for them. Although they were the #1 seeds, they would have hoped for the gold medal. That's nice play.
Yeah,
that's what
Service over.
They need to do more of that. And you were talking about, you know, at school.
4, 6.
Not that I ever received a merit for good effort.
Me neither.
In fact, my school reports were always need to try harder. My poor parents were in despair.
Yeah.
But it is interesting, isn't it, this contrast? We have this Japanese pair who consistently are the best pair in the world. They are the world #1s. And yet they're playing against a pair who, on the big occasions, world and Olympic champions. And we always have that difference in sport. Isn't it fascinating? Cometh the big tournament, who responds
6.
Best.
Exactly.
And, you know, drawing from my Danish background. We have a tennis player, Wozniacki, and she was world #1 in women's singles.
Yeah.
But she never won a major.
Yeah.
And you know, that was exactly.
Well, she hasn't won a major yet.
Yet. Ah, chances are that she might do it, and I really hope
Service
she will.
over.
I'm actually one of the great supporters of her.
7-5.
Different opinions in the country, but you know, it's exactly the same argument for and against it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was world #1 in women's doubles and mixed doubles. And never won the all-in, never won a world title. Got medals, but so there you are. Couldn't do it on the big event.
Same for me. Same for me.
What do you think is going to take this Japanese pair then to that higher level? Not just world #1s, but also a world title or an Olympic title. What have they got to do? Is it being more adventurous in their style of play, or what?
I think it's quite simple, and they simply have to hunt the shuttle from the front of the court a lot more. They are not decisive enough from the front of the court like this. That was a good opportunity, but she was not able to put it away. And there was another opportunity that passed her.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good way of getting out of trouble. But basically, I think they have to be better from the front of the court. And it's both of the players, not just one of them.
Service
Both
over.
of the players have to be better, intercepting and really chasing whatever opportunity there might be from the front court.
Yeah, because that's what I see the difference in this match so far. The Chinese pair, it's not only that they've been able to finish it from the front of the court, but they're hunting the shuttle at the front of the court. And I don't see that from the Japanese.
They're working a lot harder.
Yeah.
Service over. 10-6.
Indecision. So from the game in full with a 5-point advantage. And the two seeds, the Olympic champions, look to be, I was going to say cruising. I think that's a little unfair, but they're looking good.
They definitely have the edge.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see. I spoke to one of the Danish coaches this morning at the breakfast table. And it's the first time he is in China. And you know, it's the first time obviously he's here in Fuzhou then. And he said, what a wonderful stadium it is. And I was here on the court, he said, playing yesterday. And he was impressed with how little drift in such a big stadium. And still what we saw here is that tiny little drift was making the insecurity on Matsutomo here, because she was said, oh, is it in or is it that? No, okay, it's the drift, and then she decided to play the shot. We're talking about an inch.
Yeah.
It's amazingly little in such a big stadium, but it still makes a difference.
Yeah.
and the Chinese are playing against the drift, and therefore they have a slight advantage in the defense because they can push it a little bit harder. They don't have to worry about going out of the baseline.
Yeah.
Service over.
Look at the net for the Japanese pair.
7-11.
Picking up on that, Morten, isn't that the case with all sport, really? The higher up the level you go to the very, very elite, it's the tiny differences. So for somebody like me now who doesn't play badminton at all anymore,
8,
you know,
11.
or for a club player playing in with this sort of drift, it wouldn't make a lot of difference because I simply haven't got the skills anymore. But these tiny differences, and I'm thinking back especially to some of the comments you made yesterday when we were watching Lindan, and you were saying that he's not rotating his torso the way he used to, and you made one or two other comments as well, and I sort of thought, and in fact you verbalized and said we are still talking about tiny, tiny differences here, but the difference between
9,
world
11.
number ones or world and Olympic champions are these tiny differences.
It is.
Yeah.
But that's what's so fascinating about it, and
Yeah.
obviously that's the pleasure of you and me. You know, we have the pleasure of sitting here week after week, tournament after tournament, and watching the game we love, and see all these minute little things.
Yes. And what an impact they can have within a match.
Absolutely. And suddenly now the Chinese are not
The match
cruising
on
anymore.
court
It's
2 will
10-11.
be women's doubles
Oh, there you go.
between
That's
Luo
my theory out the
from
window.
China,
10-11.
Wang Xiaoli, Yu Yang from China.
2号场地将要进行的是女子双打比赛，由来自中国的莫里对阵来自中国的王小姐、
Service
于
over.
洋。
Umpire, Wang Zhenghe, China.
12,
Service
10.
start, Edie Carbon, France.
本场比赛裁判员王真和，中国；发球裁判员吉里斯卡兰特，法国。
Oh, that wasn't a very good serve. Got away with it.
Service over. 11-12.
I'd love to know what the Japanese coaches said in that 1 minute timeout.
Something right.
Service over. 13-11.
Oh, she's missed it.
Service over.
But that defensive shot from Tian, that's the one you were alluding to
12,
in the opening game, wasn't it?
13.
Yeah.
It was a good shot. And he really set up a very nice opportunity. But once again, the idea is just so right.
Yeah.
Not spreading the attack on the
13
other
all.
opponent. No, she's going straight on that one. Following, very good again. This is a sitter.
Yeah.
She's missing. But not only that, she's not going cross on it either. She's going straight. Should it ever come back, it can only come back straight again. So she's doing all the right things. It's all the right moves on this one.
Oh, good smash.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
That
Service
was
over.
absolute pinpoint accuracy to the right hip of Zhao Yunlei, and somehow she managed to get it back.
14, 13.
We talked about the lengthways drift, Morgan, but
there's a small sideways
yeah.
as well.
And that did indeed come back in.
At the net here, and that was really very, very good. But once again, a long rally. But you know, going back to what we just saw before, that if Zhao Yunlei had been scoring on those 2 points she actually missed, the smash cross court and the big opportunity at the net, it would have been 17-11, and I would say this match would have been over. That's just how little it takes. Yeah, I'm sure if you do video
16,
analysis on this,
13.
you will see how many points the Chinese have won from the front of the court, like this one here, and then compared to their opponent from Japan, and you will have a very, very clear picture.
Oh, good defense.
Yeah, she really got it well back, Matsutomo. That's good by Matsutomo there.
Japanese have to win this rally, really, to stay in the match, don't they?
They have to.
Psychologically, after such a long rally.
Good smash. Here it comes. That's good defense by Matsutomo. She really did well to get the first and the second one back, in all honesty. But once again, it was the proof of winning from the front of the court.
Yeah.
17-13.
Oh, not surprising. They all want to have a quick towel down, take on board some liquid. 4 straight points, but my goodness, that was a long, long rally. Physically demanding. And I'm sure this is one of the problems, Morten, with some of the philosophy of some of the coaches when they watch semi-final of a premier event like this China Open, and some coaches will say, you've got to be fit enough to play these long, long rallies, and women's doubles, we've got to train them harder, we've got to send them out for more morning runs, and, but if the Japanese pair were more proactive at the front of the court, they wouldn't be long rallies. there could be much shorter rallies, which emphasises your point that, you know, perhaps other nations, European nations, and the rest of the world, we're not working on the right things. We're looking at this and we're so blinkered by seeing these wonderful long rallies and brilliant defences that we're missing the point of what we should be doing, which is something totally different to this.
Yes, we have to differentiate ourselves from this. I can think of one thing. I can think of they're definitely not in this league, in all honesty, but they apply some of what I'm saying, and that is the Malaysian women's doubles, Vivian Hu and
Wonky Wei.
That's it. That combination has won medals
Yeah.
at some of the bigger events,
Yeah.
and they're not in the class of these players. They are not, in all honesty, but they go in there and they get the medals, and they actually do play a lot more skillful badminton.
Couldn't agree more. You and I had the delight of watching them win the gold medal at the Commonwealth Games, but I do take issue with you on one thing. They beat Wang Xiao Liu and Yu Yang in the Asian Games.
In the Asian Games just recently.
Yeah. So if they can beat a pair like that, they are in this class, but they don't
consistently. I was missing that word.
Yeah,
possibly.
yeah.
But what I'm saying, they're not consistently in that class, but they have the skills and they can upset the really, really best ones on their good days.
I agree.
(14-18).
And to think that Malaysia are actually considering splitting them up. I was reading in the Malaysian newspaper.
Yes, but I read as well that they play the next one together again.
Yeah.
Hong Kong, or
Well, maybe it's just a, you know,
testing.
And maybe that's what's happened with this Chinese pair. You know, last year only 5 tournaments together. Let's see how much you really want to play together. Let's see whether there's other options available. No, we agree. This Chinese pair, these two players playing together, is one of our best options. So, okay, ladies, get on with it.
Yep.
Well worked.
Service over. (19-14).
Oh, that was going wide.
It was going wide, yes.
Wide at the centre line.
Here we have it. First challenge of the day.
In by Tian.
And I think it's out.
Yeah, I thought that was a strange one to challenge. But I'm all for any challenge, to be honest, because I love it so much.
Yes, you do.
Sorry, correction out.
A little bit of excitement.
Yes. Her foot's in the way. Oh, yeah, that's long.
out.
That's clearly long. Yes, Hawkeye's going to confirm that, I'm certain.
Challenge unsuccessful.
Oh,
Unsuccessful.
Hawkeye's already made the decision. There we go. We didn't see that. Did I miss that?
No, you did not miss it. But the umpire is notified before us.
So, 15-19.
15-9.
Zhao Yunlei is still waiting for the big screen to show it.
16, 19.
I guess from your perspective, your coaching perspective, you don't mind that. She went for the interception. She was trying to do the right thing. You can't play the perfect shot every time.
No, I think again, I can only recommend it.
Yeah.
I think this was the right way to do it. She took the right chance. She was there. She missed it, yes, but it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Sorry?
15.
No, Chin is 19. That's right.
Now 10.
Yes.
Oh, I'm really not quite sure what all that was about. Were they?
Who to receive?
Yeah. Don't think the umpire was telling them off for time wasting or anything. It seemed to be confusion around, didn't it?
Service over.
Well, big gap down that forehand side brings up 4
20.
match point opportunities.
16. Let, please.
Long time.
That's debatable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it was a nice serve. Serving wide.
Yeah, first time of asking.
It's actually bad luck the Japanese are not winning that rally, because that's the first time they string 3 attacking shots together.
Yeah.
You know, in all honesty, if you look at it from a coaching perspective.
Yeah. Well, Zhao Yunlei waves to the
Match won
fans.
by Jiang
Thanks to the
Xing and
coaches.
Zhao Yulin. 21-15, 21-16.
21-15, 21-16 confirms the umpire. 52 minutes. And they will contest their first China Open final as a pair. 6 previous finals between them. The 2 Chinese players. The first as a doubles combination. Yeah, both of them edging forward, looking to play from the net. So once again, confirmation of the score. 21-15, 21-16, and the number 2 seeds Tian and Zhao Yunlei safely through to the final tomorrow.
Okay. We got black, we got red. Black, huh? Black. Service.
So our next